Okay, so in this session, we're going to learn about the SAP projects. So what all are the different types of projects in SAP? Okay, so these are the basic projects which are mostly run by most of the companies, right? So the first project in SAP is implementation project. So what is implementation project? So basically, so implementation project is the word as itself suggests implementation. So here, what a company does is planning to implement a new ERP software in their company. So let's suppose they are having Tally, for example, in their current organization, or let's suppose they have Oracle Finance, okay, or let's suppose they have PeopleSoft. So there are n number of multiple companies. There were n number of ERP softwares were available in the market. Now the company are planning to switch to a new ERP product, which is SAP. Okay, SAP is a global product. Okay, so let's suppose earlier they were using Tally, or let's suppose they were using Oracle, or let's suppose they were using PeopleSoft or JD Edwards. So these are basically the ERP software. So now what happened? Now X company, let's suppose XYZ Private Limited is a company, right? So a company can be a service industry or a product based company. Okay, so what now the company XYZ is planning? So they were earlier using these any of these ERP softwares. Now what they are planning? They're planning to implement SAP in their company as an ERP software. So SAP. Okay, so now they are planning to implement SAP in their company. So what happens now? They approach to the SAP partners that hey, now we want to use SAP as an ERP software in our organization. So please suggest. So SAP has different SAP partners. They connect with those partners, and those partners help them to get SAP implemented for their organization. Now, in their implementation, what they would do, so there are it depends what kind of methodology. Now there are other methodologies which are also there. Now the standard methodology which were used in SAP implementation was SAP methodology. SAP methodology. So this is basically the methodology which is being used in the implementation project. So these has different phases, and depending on the phases, the starting part and the end, from beginning to the end, the complete process it takes place in the SAP methodologies, from starting from the project preparation to the go live project. Okay, so now what the top management, they come to the company, they meet and they have the board meetings and all. They discuss what is the current project and the current process, and based on that, what is the as is document and what is the to be document. As is means, as you must have heard, as is and to be. So as is and to be document. Okay, as is and to be document. Okay, as is means the current, how what all is currently going on in the organization, and to be what all they want, what all the customizations they want, what all changes they want, how they want to run their organization with the new ERP software. So basically the implementation project, it takes time. Takes time depending on the size of the organization. It can start, it can take 1 year and go up to 1.5 year or 2 years for the complete implementation project, depending on the size of the organization. Okay, So I hope you are now understood what is an implementation project, right? Now next move on to the support project. Support project is basically once the implementation is done, and once the SAP is installed. Now SAP system is already in the organization. SAP is there. SAP as an ERP software is already in the company. Now what they want is a support. Now those who have done the implementation, they are not gonna live in that organization for the complete uh, lifetime. They're not gonna stay there. So what the company would say, see, I will help, I will give you support, right? And basically this support is to assist the users who are working on the SAP ERP software. If they come across any challenge or any issue, the support team would help them. So this is where the you can get hired as a support consultant as well. So you can join as an implementation project. You can join in the support project. Support project is nothing but post implementation. When the implementation is done, for the support of the ERP software which is being used in the company, you can work as a consultant. You can work as a support consultant in the company, and you can give support in the SAP software. Now, next, the third is in the upgradation or enhancement project. So, what is upgradation and what is enhancement? Upgradation and enhancement is basically when a company was using ECC version, so they have used that ECC version uh, for a long time. Let's suppose for 5-6 years they have already used ECC, but now the SAP has upgraded their version from ECC to S4 HANA, then Fury, and so on. So S4 HANA also there are many versions: 1809, 1909, 2022, and on so on. Now what they want to upgrade their uh, software from ECC to S4 HANA. This is where you can be hired in the SAP upgradation project. Now the company would hire the consultants to help them upgrade from their system from ECC to S4HANA version. Very simple. These three projects you have understood. Now let's move on to the rollout project. So what is a rollout project? So rollout project is basically when your company, let's suppose my company is A, and I want a new company to set up. Let's suppose B, right? I already have a company. Let's suppose ABC, ABC Private Limited, Private Limited. So I already have ABC Private Limited. Now what I want to incorporate a new company. Now I said, hey SAP, I am already using SAP as an ERP software in one of my company. Now I want to use in a second company of mine, or let's suppose a third company. So this is basically ERP. It depends on a place to place as well. Let's suppose if I have ABC in Mumbai and I want to start a new company in some other place. Let's suppose if I want to start it in Delhi. So it can also be termed as a rollout project, and it can also verify from country to country. Let's suppose, for example, Kia Motors. So let's suppose Kia Motors is a US company, right? They were having their manufacturing everything in US. Now they want to come to India for their business. So what it will be termed as? It will be termed as a rollout project. So the complete setup, everything we need to do, the tax configuration, the complete setup, the complete everything we need to change uh, as per the geographical region. So this is basically the rollout project. Now the fourth type of project is the testing project. So basically what happens is, once the implementation is done, right? So ideally, testing is the next phase, we can say, post implementation. So let's suppose once the implementation is done and all the configuration has been completed successfully. So to test whether all the configuration which has been done is working fine or not, whether a user is able to post all the transactions, let's suppose be it FB50, FB60, FB70, or document reversal or mass posting, any posting which a user does on a day-to-day transaction, whether he's able to do all the transactions in a smooth and efficient manner or not. So this is where the consultant comes into picture. He will do all the testing. He will submit the report. He will share the user manuals, and he will do the complete end-to-end testing of any of the of the projects which has been implemented in the particular organization. So this is what a testing project is. Now, this is a new project, we can say, SAP maintenance, right? So what is SAP maintenance, right? So as a consultant, right, there are many organizations wherein there are already consultants available, right? There are SAP consultants, FICO module, other modules consultants are already available. So as an SAP consultant, if you get selected in any of the organization, what you need to do is you need to manage the SAP. Manage the SAP means you need to see if all the modules consultants are taking care of their area or how they are working, if everything is working smoothly or not. So you need to manage SAP if there is any issue, where you need to report, where you need to connect with, whether you need to connect with the basis team or whether you need to connect to the ABAP team, whether you need to connect with the finance team, or you need to connect with the controlling team or the SD team or the MM team, right? So basically this maintenance project, we can say, is basically taken care by the SAP lead, who takes care of the complete SAP running in a particular organization. So these were the few SAP projects which are majorly uh, run in most of the organizations. So these fast five, uh, you can see four, you can see the most commonly being used in almost most of the companies. If you are applying for any job, so mostly you either be hiring for the implementation project, support project, upgradation project, or rollout project. But in very rare scenarios you will get a job in a testing project or SAP maintenance domain, right? So most of the chances that when you apply for any interview, when you post or your CV in any of the job portals, so you get a call and you will be asked, hey, have you worked in any of the implementation project, or have you worked in any of the support project, or have you done any of the rollout or any upgradation or enhancement, right? So basically these are the four projects which are most commonly being used and most commonly being asked by the interviewers, whether you have taken part in any of these projects or not. So it's very important that you know what all these four projects are, so that when the interviewer asks you, you are in a position to answer their queries and answer their questions. Say, yes, hi, I have worked in the implementation project, or whether you have not worked. So at least you have the idea and understanding what is implementation project, what is a support project, what is upgradation project, what is a rollout project. Whether you have worked or you're a fresher, at least you should be having an idea of what all these projects talks about, right?
Yes, sir.
Just give me 1 minute. Let me check. The recording is started, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Say
So, sorry.
Srinivas.
Srinivas. Yes, Srinivas. You have you want to ask anything? You can ask me.
Can you uh, uh, tell me about the support project again, sir?
Yeah, support project. Okay. So in the support project, what it happens is, so the company, the implementation is done. Okay. Implementation has taken project. You know what is implementation project? Implementation is implementing a complete new ERP software in an organization, in a company. Now the implementation is done. Implementation is successfully performed, be it 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years, how much time it is taken, it is done. Now, most of the configuration, everything, data migration, master data creation, GL creation, everything is done. Now, company is working fine. They have tested everything. Now the users are working. Now, when the users are working, so they must be facing a challenge. They must come across any error while they are performing any transaction. So when they post any document, right, or they do any transaction in any of the T codes, they come across any error. So once the error is comes, they're not able to fix it. They're not able to move ahead because there is an error. If they are posting any document in any of the T codes, they would not be able to proceed without resolving that error. And that end user is not aware what that error is, how to resolve that error. Who would know that? The consultant would know, because consultant have an idea and understanding of the configuration part. What all were the configuration, where to click, what to do to resolve that error. Now, what the end user will do, end user will raise a ticket. Okay. So what end user will do, end user will raise a ticket. So ticket is also ticketing is also important topic. So end user will not come to you, or not, he will not call you, okay, hey, Srinivas, I've got an error. He will not do like that. What he will do, so company organizations, they have a ticketing tool. So you must have heard ServiceNow as a ticketing tool. Uh, Incident management system, IMS, is a ticketing tool. Jira is a ticketing tool. There are a number of ticketing tools are available in the market, but it depends on the organization to organization what kind of ticketing tool they want to use for the organization. So the end user, now when he faces any issue, what he will do, he will uh, log a ticket in the ticketing tool, saying, see, hey, I am trying to post this transaction. Let's suppose FB50. While posting this transaction, I am facing so and so error. He will attach the screenshot in that ticket saying the priority of the ticket. Let's suppose it's a priority 1, P1, or let's suppose it's a P2 ticket, or let's suppose it's a P3 ticket, or it's a P4 ticket. You can also say L1. Many companies it says L1. L1 means level 1. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. So users can raise the ticket depending on the criticality of the ticket, how critical is the ticket, how important is the ticket to resolve, what is the priority, how fast they want the tickets to get resolved. Based on that, they will select P1, P2, P3, P4. P1 can be, they want it to be resolved within an hour or 4. So 1 to 4 hours, they want it get to be resolved. P2, we can say they want a bit more time. They can say 8 to 10 hours is fine for me to these tickets to get resolved. P3, you can say they want it to get resolved within 12 to 15 hours. P4, you can say they want it to get resolved in 24 hours or 48 hours. So this is basically depending on the criticality of the tickets, how and when, how fast they want the tickets to be resolved. So once the ticket is resolved, it will come up to the consultant. Consultant have the IMS system or the ticketing tool system. He also having the same access. He will log in with his user ID and password. He will see the list of tickets which is there. Based on the criticality of the ticket, he will resolve the ticket and he will respond to the user. Either he will respond on the same ticket that the issue is resolved, or he will call the user for the better understanding to try and figure it out exactly is the challenge, if the consultant is not able to understand what was the exact issue, right? So he will take him, if he is within the organization, so he can walk up to his seat and he can check what exactly was the issue. And if he is working on a remote session, he can take the remote access of his screen and he can check what exactly is the issue, and accordingly he can fix that issue so that the user is able to post the transactions successfully, right? Now this is basically the overview and the complete structure of the SAP support project. What is basically a support project and what all are being done in the support project? I hope I answer your question, Srinivas.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So
Yes,
yeah. So this is how basically it's worked in a live project, in a live organization, in a live company, right? So being a fresher, you don't have to worry. If you know the product, if you know the answers to the questions that are being asked, that are being thrown to you, and if you're able to answer those questions, then you're good to go. You don't have to worry that you are experienced or not. You are confident that I know the questions that are going to be asked and I'm able to answer those questions, then you are good to go to get into the job. Okay.
okay, sir.
So this was all about the SAP projects. If you come across any further question, you can ask me. I will try to answer your questions. Okay. So we are left with other topics which we are going to cover in our next session. Okay. So with this, we are going to end the today's session, and we will continue on the same time tomorrow. Okay, and I will share the link, the video link on Drive, Google Drive, so you would be able to access it post the class. Okay,
Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah, okay.
so that was it. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Shri. Thank you.